I'm Antonia, and this is my series Alternative Stories, where I explore the books, films, and versions of Greek myths which have really stuck with me for being different. Tonight, I am focusing on the ancient Greek myths surrounding Helen of Troy. I chose Helen because of her popularity. Probably one of the most famous figures from Greek mythology, most people will know her as the woman whose beauty started the Trojan War. However, I was introduced to another version of her story by the author, comedian, and broadcaster Natalie Haynes in her book Pandora's Jar: Women in Greek Myths. And in her BBC Radio 4 programme, Natalie Haynes stands up for the classics. This version appealed to me because it completely turned the original story on its head and asked the question, can Helen really be blamed for the Trojan War if she never set foot in Troy herself? Helen of Troy, Helen of Sparta. The face that launched 1,000 ships from the ancient Greek myth of Troy has many names. However, Helen of Egypt is not one that might immediately come to mind. The myth that you might know is a tale from Homer's Iliad. Helen of Sparta, daughter of the god Zeus, is either seduced or abducted by Paris of Troy.
Turn us round, back to Sparta. And sail! Wait, you fool. Listen to me. Do you know what you've done? Do you know how many years our father worked for peace? I love her. It's all a game to you, isn't it? You roam from town to town, betting merchants' wives and temple maids, and you think you know something about love. What about your father's love? You spat on him when you brought her on this ship. What about the love for your country? You'd let Troy burn for this woman? I won't let you start a war for her.
Her husband, Menelaus, then launches a massive Greek campaign to get her back. Agamemnon, Odysseus, and Achilles, among many others, embark on a 10-year war against the city of Troy. Eventually, Odysseus' trick of the Trojan horse manages to get the Greek army inside the city walls, and Troy falls. The victorious Greeks then head home, Helen with them, some encountering many dangers during the long-winded journey home, as chronicled in Homer's Odyssey. Helen is mainly blamed for the Trojan War, both today and in Homer's original 8th century BC text. In the play The Trojan Women by the ancient Greek tragedian Euripides, Hecate, the captured queen of Troy and mother to Paris, says after the fall of Troy, "I praise you, Menelaus, if you'll kill your wife. She captures the eyes of men, destroys their cities, burns down their houses." Whether Helen was the cause of the Trojan War has been debated for millennia, but what if Helen had never actually stepped foot in Troy? Well, the ancient Greek lyric poet Stesichorus tells us that not she, but her wraith only, had passed to Troy, while she was borne by the gods to the land of Egypt, and there remained until the day when her lord, Menelaus, turning aside on the homeward voyage, should find her there. According to Stesichorus' narrative, Helen wasn't even in Troy during the war. The men were fighting over a phantom image of her, while she was happily and blamelessly living in Egypt. Menelaus only comes across her on his travels home when he stops off in Egypt. Euripides follows this version in his play titled Helen, and Plato uses the story in his Republic. This shows that it must have been a relatively well-known adaptation. In the Euripides play, Menelaus asks Helen how a person can be both here, in Egypt, and in Troy. Helen fittingly answers, "A name can be in lots of places at once." but a person can't. I think this quote from Helen sums up what I love about myths, that there is never one true version, but rather lots of different narratives surrounding these famous names. The stories get shaped and added to over time, depending on the values and ideals of that period. Different authors make them their own, adding little twists and plays on the original story, a little bit like fan fiction. Some versions get lost, some damaged, and some get so ingrained into popular culture that they become truth. However, each version is no less true or important than the most popular one. The story of Helen is no exception.